I have a question for you. What do you do when you feel like you have said something over and over, but yet you haven't found it to be effective? Meaning, you might be selling something, you might be having a business and a product, and meaning that maybe you're parenting kids, maybe you have a marriage and you feel like you've expressed your needs over and over, but yet you don't feel like it's getting through, and
haven't been heard and haven't been
right.
Yeah.
You're just not having success. You're not being effective.
Yes.
And so I want to talk to you today because I feel like, stick around to the very end. I feel like you're going to actually get key steps to being effective finally, once and for all. Can I get an amen?
Come on.
So whatever it is that you do, and this applies across the entire gamut of things that you can think of that you do, whether you lead a family, whether you sell a product, whether you're at your job and you're managing a team and you feel like everything I'm saying must be falling on deaf ears. If that's you, comment right now, like, yes, amen, that's me, I am tired of it. So if that's your struggle, stick around to the very end, because we're going to go over 3 key areas that you will have success in being effective to create change instead of just talking and not seeing any effectiveness. So as we hop into this, I know that one of the things that I have noticed is that people want clarity, right? Like if I just shoot past all this and you go, what did I just hear? You're going to feel like nothing of what she said was clear. But I want to point out to you that people want clarity. They need to know that you've given them somewhat of a roadmap. Where they have something to run on, and they want clarity so that they can actually engage. It may be their heart to want to obey and do activity of what you're showing them, but they just don't know what to do because the vision hasn't been made plain. All right. So in order to create that activation, it really starts with your clarity and communication.
Yes.
All right. So one of the things that I feel like the Lord showed me was what we're going to be going over in this video. So 1 makes you informed, 2 times makes you hear, and 3 times makes you activate. All right. So again, 1 makes you informed, 2 times makes you hear, and the 3rd time makes you activate. All right, so when you're sharing a vision with someone, maybe it's your kids, maybe you're like, if I have to tell you one more time to clean your room, and they're like, la, 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 and you're like, seriously, like, what do I need to do to create activation? Well, then that's probably because they have not got clarity.
Yes.
And now you may say, well, I tell them all the time to clean the room. But maybe they need clarity on the consequences. Maybe they need communication on what it looks like to be able to actually come through and have the vision painted for them of what it looks like if they don't clean their room. So the impact, the effectiveness is measured by the results of your communication and your own action. If you're wanting action from someone else, then maybe you have not had action to show them what you're expecting. So a lot of times you'll hear people say, especially leaders, I can't ask you to go where I have myself not been before. Or I can't ask you to do what I'm not willing to do myself. So maybe your kids need to see you actually clean their room and see what it's like. And if that's not the case and they just don't know how to clean their room, or maybe they do know how, they just don't believe what you're saying, then maybe you need to make a believer out of them and show them that they're actually going to miss Saturday night's outing with their girlfriends or their guy friends. So I mean, maybe you actually put action forth towards the consequence of not cleaning their room. All right. So when we talk about execution, which is taking action on what's been communicated and visualized, we go back to what I said about the 3 steps, right? That the Lord showed me. Number 1, it makes you informed. So if you tell someone one time, I just made you informed. That's all I've done is given you information. But if I tell you something twice, you might actually hear it, like I'm doing right now. I've told you before these 3 steps, but the first time they were just information. Now you're probably actually hearing it. Number 1 was that you're informed. Number 2 is that it makes you hear what I've been saying. And number 3, what's number 3? Drop in the comments. Number 3 is actually when they hear it a 3rd time, it actually makes them activate. It actually causes activation to come forth. So, sometimes you feel like you have to nag somebody. And again, that's because maybe you haven't given the visual of the consequences if they don't do it. So if somebody at your job and you ask them 3 times to show up on time and they don't, then maybe they need to be written up. Maybe there's a consequence that they have to walk through. And so I just want to encourage you that when we say something 3 times, that actually causes activation. And so I'm going to say this again because I hope that this is really helping you. I really believe that this is going to help you really be able to have a very focused effectiveness on what you're trying to accomplish with your steps. Number 1, when you say it 1 time, it's information. Number 2, when you say it a 2nd time, people actually hear what you said. Number 3, they actually activate. All right. So what have you gotten from the 3 steps?
I think it's important for us all to just take that in, because I think even in life in general, like you're saying, this could be applied to anything, for kids, to businesses. Like when you're trying to communicate something to somebody, we have to now understand, like, look, even if I just told them once, they've only heard it. I mean, they heard it, but they didn't really receive it. And I think that's powerful. It's like, if I really want them to understand what I just said to them, I need to say it a multiple times, at least 3 times, so that they're activated on what I'm actually just communicating. And so that's powerful. I think once we put that into practice, I think we'll be more effective into our communication, or to be effective in our communication, and in what we're saying. So yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah. So again, number 1, what does that do? Number 1, the first time they hear something, it makes them informed. You're just relaying information. Hey, be here on Tuesday at 6. But if I say, hey, be here on Tuesday at 6. Hey, be here on Tuesday at 6. Hey, be here. You're like, okay, I get it. Be here on Tuesday at 6, right? But so I don't think we realize the importance of if we're asking something of someone, in any situation, even on a video, and recording and teaching, especially on teaching, right? Yeah. Because they hearing comes by obedience comes by hearing, and hearing the word, Yeah. So he didn't say it once, he said it twice. Obedience comes by hearing and hearing. Yeah. So I heard you the first time, but it was just information. I didn't retain it. And so retention happens when you actually have said it to me a 2nd time, but then to actually get up and go do something about it. When I want change in this nation, when you want change in this nation, when you just want change in your household, when you want somebody to take the dog out finally, when you want somebody to wash their clothes and you not have to start the washing machine over and over, then change happens when you actually create that message 3 times to be able to make sure that it's understood. And in some cases, you may need to be the visual. Yeah,
the whole comprehension happens. It's kind of the same thing. Like when you read a book, like for me, I got to read a page or a sentence or a paragraph like several times for me to understand what's actually being communicated. Some of you are fast readers. You guys are just fast readers. You get it real quick. But, especially when you're communicating with somebody face to face, it's important for us to, if we want to be clearly heard, understood, and we want to make sure the person who's listening to us actually are getting the messages that we're communicating, then we need to say it more than once.
So good. Yeah. So good. So yeah, I hope that it helps you be more effective. Number 1, makes you informed. Number 2, 2nd time that you say it, it makes them hear you. And number 3, perfect timing, it makes you activate. Go out and make a great day. Be very effective in all that you do. We love you guys.